It's the 2022 ZIZ Goldwyn Caines Speech Competition. Tune in on March 30 at 7 p.m. to see 8 high schools battle for the title. The topic will be, given the limitations imposed by the pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? The event will be carried live on ZIZ Radio, TV, and our social media pages. So tune in, log on, and support your favorite school as they compete for the Goldwyn Caines plaque and trophy. That's the 2022 ZIZ Goldwyn Caines Speech Competition, Wednesday, March 30 at 7 p.m. on ZIZ.
O land of beauty, a country where peace abounds, thy children stand free on the strength of will and love, with God in all our struggles, St. Kitts and Nevis be a nation bound together with a common destiny. As stalwarts we stand for justice and liberty, with wisdom and truth we will serve and honor thee. No sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. His blessing shall forever to posterity extend.
Let us pray. Praise the name of the Lord. Praise the name of the Lord. Father, we lift you up this evening. We glorify your wonderful and your matchless name, for you are Lord over St. Christopher and Nevis. Even now, Lord God, as we come together, we honor the Godhead, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And we say thank you, Lord, for this evening. We thank you, Lord, for bringing us here safely. We thank you, Lord, for a successful competition. Even now I pray for the children, those who will be taking part. Father, I ask in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that you touch their vocal cords, you touch their minds, you touch their lips, mighty God. Help them to retain what they have learnt. Help them to speak eloquently. And Father, even now, we understand your word which says you have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. So I speak this word into your children. Thank you for tonight's proceeding. Bless it as only you can. In Jesus' name I pray with thanksgiving. Amen. You may be seated.
Good evening and welcome to the second annual ZIZ Goldwyn Caines Speech Competition. I'm Carla Berridge, and tonight we are continuing celebrations of the 61st anniversary of ZIZ Radio, and we want to welcome each and every one of you here this evening. This competition is held in honor of veteran broadcaster Goldwyn Caines. He is the former general manager of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. Mr. Caines described radio as the theater of the mind, And through commentary, he chronicled historic events of St. Kitts and Nevis in all spheres, from parliament to pageantry, and brought them into our homes. Goldwyn Caines rose through the ranks of ZIZ, topping off his career with his stint as general manager from 1981 to 1987. The goal of tonight's competition is simple. It is to provide an opportunity for high school students to develop their research, writing, and public speaking skills. There are 8 schools participating this evening, and each student will speak for 5 to 7 minutes on the topic given. And the topic given is, given the limitations imposed by the pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? Our participating students are Alicia Jellim of the Sadler Secondary School, Janiqua Williams of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, Rajon Fifield of the Gingerland Secondary School, Malachi Tucker Gums of the Washington Archibald High School, Ayanna Blanchard of the Bastia High School, Cheyenne Hanley of the Keon High School, and Leanne Liebert of the Charlestown Secondary School, and Imani Samuel of the Virchilds High School. Our chairperson this evening is Laverne Caines. Laverne Caines is a graduate of the University of the West Indies. A certified paralegal, she is a civil servant for many years, attached to the Supreme Court Registry. She has worked in senior management at Cable and Wireless, or LIME, in many capacities, including Vice President of Corporate Communications and Marketing. She is currently a director in the CNC Group of companies with responsibilities for marketing and human resources. She is the executive producer and host of The Marketplace, which is a half-an-hour television marketing program which gives businesses an opportunity to sell their products or services to local and diaspora audiences. In 2017, Ms. Caines received certification as an image consultant from the London Image Institute, following which she formed a training company called the Protocol and Personal Branding Professionals Incorporated. The company has conducted workshops in protocol and etiquette training for local clients, including the Cable, the Ministry of Education, the Rotary Club of Liamiga, TDC, and the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. Laverne Caines considers herself a community activist and is a charter member and past president of the Rotary Club of Liamiga. She's also a Paul Harris Fellow. In February 2021, she was elected to serve as vice president of the board of the St. Christopher National Trust, and she is an elected member of the Supervisory and Control Committee of First Federal Cooperative Credit Union and serves now as the committee's secretary. She has been a guest lecturer at the Jenkins CFBC Leadership Training course on the topic Office Decorum for Today's Professionals for the past 6 years. I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome each and every one of you who are here and who are listening and viewing. We will now take a short break to hear from our sponsors, and when we return, our chair, Laverne Caines, will take you into the competition.
It's the 2022 ZIZ Goldwyn Caines Speech Competition. Tune in on March 30 at 7 p.m. to see 8 high schools battle for the title. The topic will be, given the limitations imposed by the pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? The event will be carried live on ZIZ Radio, TV, and our social media pages. So tune in, log on, and support your favorite school as they compete for the Goldwyn Caines plaque and trophy. That's the 2022 ZIZ Goldwyn Caines Speech Competition, Wednesday, March 30 at 7 p.m. on ZIZ.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skellig.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skellig is here for you. Powering our community.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
Good evening, everyone. I wish to acknowledge the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. William V. Hodge, the other senior ministry officials, principals, our judges for this evening's speech contest, the participants, the students in the speech contest, and parents and teachers who have come to support this event. I will now call on Mr. Hodge, the Permanent Secretary, who would make some brief welcoming remarks before this event gets underway. Mr. Hodge?
Thank you, moderator. Good evening, everyone. I wish to acknowledge Mr. Veer Galloway, the General Manager of ZIZ, Mr. Jason Davis, and other ZIZ staffers, the Chief Education Officer, Mr. Morris, teachers, parents, students who are competing this evening. We also wish to welcome those who are viewing online, because we know that this is being streamed, and so we expect that persons all across the world would be listening in, would be viewing. I want to add my own quota of welcome to the persons who would be introduced to you as the adjudicators, as well as the timekeeper, Mr. Roger Woodley, our Senior Education Officer. I am excited about the competition because I think it's an honor that is deserving to Mr. Goldwyn Caines. And the ZIZ staffer, Ms. Berridge, would have mentioned a little bit about Mr. Caines. But I remember him as one who was very good at enunciation, articulation, and he would put his own twist on it, maybe a little bit of a Latin American twist. He and Lovina Maynard, his Uncle Goldwyn, Auntie Lovina Maynard, they kept the Saturday program for children. And so I am very delighted that ZIZ has created this opportunity for us to show our appreciation to Goldwyn Caines. We are living at a time when we have to give persons their flowers when they can smell them, when we can say thank you for your contribution to nation building. I am also excited because this is an opportunity for you students, young people, to showcase your oratorical skills, your ability to come here and deliver to us. Keep us interested by your well-modulated voices and by the rich content that I anticipate that will come forth from these presentations. We as teachers, as educators, look forward to hear of the strategies that you would advance so that we can incorporate some of these in our own classroom teaching. I'm also excited as well because we have a number of male students participating, at least 3. Yes, we may give a round of applause. Sometimes we get the feeling that, these things are not for males, these are girl stuff. So I am excited that we have male students participating this evening. Thank you very much for coming and welcome. Back over to your moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. I guess those last 10 minutes would have given you, the competitors, a little breathing space. So we'll now get into the contest. Just continue to breathe. There's no fear. We're here to support you. I'm supporting all of you. Each of you deserves to win. So now let's get the competition started, but we'll first let you know who the judges are. And I know that, as Mr. Hodge just said, people are listening virtually, and so they need to know that we have a competent team of judges who is going to determine the winner tonight. So I'll introduce the judges to you. We'll begin with Miss Leandra Edwards. Leandra Edwards obtained her Bachelor of Law degree with honors from the University of the West Indies, Cayville campus, Barbados, and her legal education certificate from the prestigious Norman Manley Law School, Kingston, Jamaica. Ms. Edwards believes in a balance of academics and extracurricular endeavors, which has led to her avid participation in the Debate Society, Young Leaders, UNESCO Small Island Voice, several inter-school quiz, writing and public speaking competitions early on at her secondary school level. During her tertiary studies, Ms. Edwards was actively involved in public service and representative roles where she served as a member of the Cayville Law Society Welfare Committee, NMLS Little Red Dress Society, and on the executive of the St. Kitts Navy Student Association. Ms. Leandra Edwards is an attorney at law called to the bar of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court of St. Christopher and Nevis Circuit in March of 2021. She's of recent vintage. Her practice has begun in the civil branch of the law, including the areas of civil litigation, contract law, debt collection, and probate. Ms. Edwards believes in the values instilled by partaking in charitable activities and continues to do so when possible. Let's give a round of applause to Ms. Edwards. And our second judge is Tressa Wyatt. Tressa Wyatt has taught in the area of information technology for approximately 13 years at the Virtuals High School. Under her dedicated tutelage, the school pass rate in CSEC IT has remained consistently high at 97% or above. In recognition of her education accomplishments, she was promoted to the post head of the IT department of the said school. In 2019, she was the featured speaker at the Virtuals High School graduation ceremony. In 2018, Ms. Wyatt was again promoted, this time to the Education Planning Division, where she has served as a systems administrator in the Education Management Information System, EMIS department. It was here where she worked diligently to see the launch of the first school information management system, OpenSys. Ms. Wyatt holds a bachelor's degree in Management Information System and is currently finishing up a Master of Business Administration with an emphasis in IT. She is also certified as a Blackboard blended learning instructor and has launched the Learn IT Courses International online platform, offering training in the use of digital productivity software. This successful online training platform has exposed many office workers and job seekers and numerous local and regional companies to capacity development in digital literacy and competency. In her community, Tressa Wyatt is demonstratively passionate about community service. She has served as community activist and lead many community mandates to ensure its continued relevance and leadership in nurturing the upkeep of community and national culture. In this role, she has also facilitated numerous economic opportunities for many within the community. Tressa also chaperoned Miss Jakima Fleming, the St. Kitts Nevis 2015 Miss World contender, and successfully launched SKN Unchained, a now 3-year-old nonprofit organization committed to the development of young females in life skills and the entrepreneurial spirit. The exemplary leadership demonstrated in the launching of 2 education management information systems and the unswerving commitment to the professional development of teachers and education leaders in education institution, information management, and digital literacy education. Ms. Wyatt has been contributing to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for many years and is the recent winner of the 2022 International Women's Day Award in the area of digital economy. Please help us welcome Ms. Tressa Wyatt. And finally, to bring balance to the judging panel is the lonely rose among the thorn. James Jamie Morris is the host of Good Morning SKN on Studio 327 Inc. and a first-year law student at the Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica. In October 2021, he graduated from the Faculty of Law at the Caveville campus at the University of the West Indies with a Bachelor of Laws degree. He jokes that Caveville was so nice he had to do it twice. 9 years prior, in 2012, he graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from the Faculty of Science and Technology from the same university and campus. In 2006, he graduated from the secondary education stream of the Division of Teacher Education at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College with an associate degree in education, earning the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant Award, the Joshua Obadiah Williams Award, the Bar Association Award, and others. Jamie began his work for the Ministry of Education in 2000 as a math and science teacher at the Virchilds High School. He also taught at the Keon High School and the Washington Archibald High School. In 2015, he became the mathematics coordinator at the Curriculum Development Unit in the Education Planning Division of the Ministry of Education and was appointed to the position 1 year later. He retired in 2018. From 2012 to 2016, he was an adjunct lecturer of mathematics at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. In 2014, he created, produced, and hosted Youth Culture, a weekly primetime show on Win FM that highlighted the achievements of youth in St. Kitts and Nevis. Youth Culture had its final air date in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for our judges tonight. And now, as we get ready to roll the competition off, we just wanted to alert you of what some of the rules are and to ensure that even if you're at home and you're your own judge, you are aware of the rules that govern this contest tonight. And so I'm going to call Mr. Woodley forward, who is our timekeeper, to explain how the timing for tonight's contest would work. Mr. Woodley?
Good evening, everyone. With respect to the time, each student will speak for 5 to 10 minutes. Sorry, let me repeat. Let me correct myself, sorry. Each student will speak for 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes. The time will begin as soon as the participant begins. Please note, 5 points will be deducted for falling below 5 minutes or exceeding 7 minutes. There will be a chime at the 5th minute and another chime at the 7th minute. I repeat, you are allowed 5 to 7 minutes, and there will be a chime at the 5th and 7th minute. Thank you.
So you have the time now, participants, competitors. There's allowance for the use of a script, but penalty will be exacted for excess or exclusive reading thereof. In other words, minimize the reading of the script and let it flow naturally. That is the other part of the rules. Now for the judging criteria, because I know we have a lot of home judges who would want to, do their own scoring and determine if theirs is in congruence with the judges. And so for soundness of content, which is one of the criteria, there is relevance to the topic, evidence of preparation or research, supportive evidence, and this would include expert evidence and appropriate discussion. And for this soundness of content, there's a maximum of 15 points. And finally, delivery. And delivery is explained as diction, meaning clarity, vocabulary, fluency. That's 15 points. For eye contact, non-dependence on the script, head not bent, exuding confidence, facial expressions, you'll get 10 points from this section. And for presence, which includes body language, gestures, expressions, and movement, 10 points are allotted for this, for a total of 50 points. I wish all of the competitors tonight well. Do your best. We're all here to support all of you, and may the best speaker win. To remind the audience again, if you might just have tuned in, this is the Ministry of Education Goldwyn Caines' high school speech competition, and the topic tonight is, given the limitation imposed by the pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? I am not sure who is the first presenter. I think there was a draw earlier. Is that Caines High School? Okay, so Caines High School will now lead off in the competition. Okay, so you are to leave the room, and I guess there would be a chaperone who will tell the next speaker when to come back. Thank you so much.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skellig.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skellig is here for you. Powering our community.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skellig, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
I can assure you that we are not minding anybody's business. The information I am collecting is confidential under the Statistics Act. I declared an oath of secrecy that could result in criminal penalties if I disclose any information. The same goes for persons working for the Statistics Department.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think that people in the community next door got indoor bathroom facilities added onto their homes some years ago? The results of the last census provided government with a picture of their situation, and the government put a plan in place to help those persons who were in need.
This is very interesting. I think my area could do with some government projects too.
It's not just about government. Your eldest daughter is in high school and doing school-based assessments and other projects. Where do you think she gets much of the population-related data she needs from? It's the Statistics Department and the work they do in conducting the census and surveys.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
listening and viewing audiences. Allow me to humbly state the COVID-19 pandemic has an unknown end date. Since it came in January of 2020, we heard it will leave by Easter of that year. Then the chatter of COVID leaving changed from it is leaving to we must get accustomed to the quote-unquote new norm. It has been 2 full years since the COVID-19 pandemic has hit St. Kitts and Nevis. I remember that day well. I was in mathematics class. At my school, we heard the long bell. Whenever the bell rang unexpectedly, and for more than 5 seconds, we knew it was some break in our regular schedule. I heard fellow students whisper that COVID reached. We're locking down. We were asked to collect all of our things and head to the assembly area. As we gathered in the assembly area, the principal quieted the anxious students and told us that St. Kitts and Nevis has recorded 2 COVID-19 cases and that word was sent from the ministry to close school until further notice. We all knew it was coming. A few plans were being put in place, but we were far from ready for the impact this pandemic would have on education. That day was the last day school was school. That day was the last day education was as I knew it. We were to be home for maybe 3 weeks. We were told that work could be sent electronically. However, some of us got learning materials, but some of us did not. At home, parents had to decide which child's education was most important because the household had only one device. According to UNESCO, the COVID pandemic has been one of the biggest disruptions to education the world has ever known, affecting more than 90% of the world's student population. Many countries turn to online-based distance education to ensure that learning never stops. However, a study by the UNESCO Institute of Statistics and the Teacher Task Force stated that some 826 million students kept out of classrooms do not have access to a computer. Additionally, some 807 million students lack internet access and 56 million live in areas not covered by mobile networks. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the ministry tried to bridge the digital gap by providing devices, making teaching platforms available, and even offering free internet access in community centers and in students' homes. Yet, it was still impossible to reach all students. Additionally, the issue of poverty and the growth of unemployment and the rise in food prices made it even more difficult for individuals to afford internet technology. So, the question is, given the limitations imposed by this pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? Let me say this. The internet has done quite a bit. But if there is no access to this technology because of geography or financial limitations, it serves very little use to those who need it the most. Hence, this is where I think traditional media, TV, and radio play an important role. So, let me introduce you to the television and radio classroom. Considering the divide in relation to accessibility to the internet, television and radio can fill that gap. My idea is that television and radio can be the place where students go for content. Governments and all other stakeholders can work together to plan and implement the television and radio classroom. In this program, during a pandemic, channels 1 to 20 would be the television classroom for 4 hours a day. Students from pre-K to college can turn on their TV to the designated channel and access content for their education level. For instance, a child in grade 1 can turn to channel 1 where classes begin at 9 a.m. For 50 minutes to 1 hour, they will be taught a content area, then a 10-minute break, then their next lesson on a new subject area will begin. These lessons will run for the first 4 hours and be played for the entire day. This way, if a family has children in different grades, they can use the TV in shifts. Additionally, the same content aired on the TV can be played on the designated radio channels. Telephone companies can get on board as well, where students can call into a hotline run by teachers who are familiar with the content being aired and get further explanations or answers to questions they may have. Television and radio are already being used around the world for education. However, for a structured television and radio broadcasting education, like I explained, to be done effectively, planning must begin as soon as possible. Collaborations are needed. Curriculum planners must create new methodologies to be used in the faceless classroom. Content must be pre-recorded and safely stored. Society must accept the limited access to their favorite shows during a pandemic. When we utilize all media, television, radio, and internet to dispense education material to every child, no pandemic can slow us down. No pandemic can stop the flow of information. No pandemic can cause our children to fall way behind. No pandemic can stop education. Thank you.
Thank you, Caines High School. I think she has set the bar very high. I'm not sure if you got your name, Miss Caines High School, I'm not sure if you got your name. Cheyenne Hanley. Thank you, Cheyenne Hanley. May I suggest that when the other presenters come to the podium, they also state their name for the benefit of the listening audience and perhaps the school that they're representing. So I think you perhaps spoke within the guidelines of the time, and we thank you for your presentation again. We are...
6 minutes, 28 seconds.
She spoke in 6 minutes and 28 seconds. We are going to have a station break now, and when we come back, the representative from Washington Archibald High School will present. Thank you.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skelec.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skelec is here for you. Powering our community.
Yes, it is important to provide full cooperation. Give truthful information to all questions asked, and you can be ensured that all your information will remain confidential.
Yes, Sandra. We provide the Department of Statistics information for years without any confidentiality issues. They are bounded by law to uphold the privacy of individual information.
Better data, better business, better lives.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Malachi Tucker Gums, and I'm representing the Washington Archibald High School. My audience, good evening. My mandate is to explore the topic, given the limitations imposed by the pandemic, how can media assist in the delivery of education? According to UNESCO, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused serious changes in the educational landscape, affecting 94% of the world's student population. Students and teachers have been unceremoniously plunged into the online modality of teaching. Imagine, for an entire term, approximately 184 students and 10 teachers at my school were affected by COVID-19. Not only has face-to-face instruction been interrupted, but many students and teachers lack internet access, while many do not have the necessary technological skills and devices. Nonetheless, media, which the Oxford Dictionary defines as mass communication that includes radio, television, newspapers, and the internet, can plug the perforations in our academia left by the COVID-19 pandemic. Social media, for instance, can be used in conjunction with Microsoft Teams as a supplementary tool in the delivery of education. Microsoft Teams is the learning platform that best mirrors the physical classroom. Locked into this platform are systems for live meeting transcripts, whiteboard use, monitoring capabilities, and breakout rooms. Why then do we need the assistance of social media? The answer is simple. Even after numerous training sessions, many teachers and students still struggle to navigate the MS Teams platform. Resultantly, instruction was not always delivered effectively. And for some students, it was not received at all. Social media is by no means a permanent fix for this dilemma. But in the interim, everyday outlets such as Facebook and WhatsApp can be used to impart instruction, while attempts to master the use of MS Teams continue. Both facilitate efficient communication, exchange of information, and require no technical expertise. Social media, if allowed, can ensure that both students and teachers thrive as they adjust to the new normal. Additionally, the provision of curriculum-aligned content through radio and television will ensure that no student will be disadvantaged. Our very own educators, Mr. Nurish Nital, Mrs. Wendy Edwards, and Mr. Dwight Berridge, had been delivering instruction via radio and television pre-pandemic. Clearly, we do not have to reinvent the wheel. Our Ministry of Education can borrow pages from these luminaries by utilizing other instructors who can systematically assist in the delivery of education. Moreover, we can adopt ideas from pedagogical professionals such as international tech advisor Simon Richmond, who recommended that a broadcaster explains a concept to listeners before asking radio actors to apply new ideas, then suggest tasks for students to complete at home. Interactive home-based activities can include quizzes, written exercises, role play, and storytelling. Such academic initiatives can come to fruition by utilizing the services of ZIZ, Win FM, Freedom FM, and other local media houses. Further, the delivery of education through television and radio allows parents to act as facilitators of the teaching-learning process. During lessons, parents and guardians can guide, monitor, and encourage their children. In fact, in a study published by NCBI, researchers found that increased parental involvement in learning makes students' outcome better. Some believe that the separation of educators from students by television and other devices reduces the teaching-learning experience to an impersonal ordeal fraught with difficulties. But doesn't this modality of teaching allow parents to be involved in their children's education? Doesn't the media solve this long-standing dilemma? Radio and television are effective avenues for imparting education. In closing, the media has assisted and can continue to play a pivotal role in making education accessible during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, there are limitations, but educators can creatively manipulate the plethora of available communication tools to effectively navigate the academic landscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Malachi Tucker Gomes, representing the Washington Archibald High School. Could we give him another round of applause? Very powerfully presented. We're going to take a break now, but when we come back, we'll hear from the representative of the Charlestown Secondary School, Leanna Liburd. We'll be right back.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skellig.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skellig is here for you. Powering our community.
Yes, it is important to provide full cooperation. Give truthful information to all questions asked, and you can be ensured that all your information will remain confidential.
Yes, Sandra. We provide the Department of Statistics information for years without any confidentiality issues. They are bounded by law to uphold the privacy of individual information.
Better data, better business, better lives.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skellig, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
Good evening. I am Leanna Liburd from the Charlestown Secondary High School. I am Leanna Liburd reporting live from ZIZ News. In our top stories, May 1st, 2020, Minister of Education has announced that schools will remain closed until further notice as the country battles with the spread of the coronavirus. May 25th, 2021, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health have made a proactive decision to close all schools in St. Kitts and Nevis as the country tries to, in an effort to control the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The details on these stories and more after the break. as I reflect on the many interruptions in the education system caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, it is evident that this pandemic has posed many limitations. However, amidst this unprecedented storm, I can only recall my grandmother's saying, "Every dark cloud has a silver lining." Our silver lining during the pandemic is media. If it wasn't for media, dog would have dead with us and our education. According to Market Business News 2022, media refers to the communication channel through which we disseminate information. Given the limitations imposed by the pandemic, media can and has definitely assisted in the delivery of education by facilitating safety, catering to different styles of learning, and keeping us informed. Media provided our educational system with an impenetrable defense of learning in the safety of our homes. As my dear grandmother would say, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Online learning ensured the safety of students and teachers, and to be quite honest, classes in the comfort of one's bed is every student's dream come true. Media facilitated risk-free morning devotions, academics, and even physical education. According to the Washington Post 2022, CDC indicates that the coronavirus is 12 times more deadly for people with underlying conditions. As an individual with underlying conditions myself, how would I, a mere 100 pounds, stand up against the onslaught of that vicious monster, COVID? I wouldn't stand a chance. The Ministry of Education provided devices for teachers and students like myself. According to the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, during a national address on May 25, 2020, then the Minister of Education, the Honorable Sean Richards, said that the government delivered by equipping over 1,000 students and 400 teachers with devices and 700 homes with internet. Some might say this is keeping the promise. Media serves as an excellent tool to cater to students with different learning styles, namely visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. World-renowned educational psychologist Robert E. Slavin advocates the use of media as it is an essential tool that promotes multi-sensory learning and developing critical thinking skills. Though it took a pandemic for teachers to renounce chalk and talk, incorporating Microsoft Teams was ideal to impact learners at all stages: early childhood, primary, secondary, tertiary, and special education divisions. Microsoft Teams enhance our learning skills as videos, interactive games, group activities, video, and chat calls were now included in our classes. Additionally, note writing is so 2018. Notes are now posted electronically, allowing access at our fingertips. Having transitioned back into the physical classroom, media allows for engaging class activities. I am positive that the students here today would agree that we would choose this form of learning over a board filled with notes any day. Given the limitations, media educated students and the masses by keeping us informed with COVID-19 updates. This was essential as the reality of the pandemic channeled into students' learning curriculum. Owing to the unceasing echoes of the NEOC task force for subjects like biology, we got a true sense of the impact of viruses and the importance of vaccines. For social studies, we clearly understood the effect of the pandemic on our social welfare. And for economics, it was clear what a lockdown does to our society. The banning of all mass gatherings triggered much social media backlashes and resistance. No church, no sports, no fete, and no long jams. I missed yet another long jam behind the Koban to my favorite song, BS and WS, BS and WS. However, it was the effective use of media that taught us the value of these safety measures. My astute audience, it is pellucid that beyond a shadow of a doubt, media is and remains a powerful tool in the delivery of education. Media facilitates safety, caters to different learning styles, and keeps us informed. As I reflect on our confrontation with COVID-19, the Prime Minister's voice still rings in my ears. My fellow citizens and residents, and those dreaded words, 14 days, we are locked down again. However, if this were to ever be our fate once more, be it pandemic or war, I am fearless, for I am rest assured that media will once again be our deliverer. Thank you.
That was Leanna Liebert from across the waters from Charlestown Secondary School. Thank you, Leanna. Another round of applause for Leanna. Our timekeeper will tell us.
She spoke for 7 minutes, 40 seconds.
7 minutes, 40 seconds. 7 minutes and 40 seconds, which suggests she was 40 seconds over time. Thank you very much for your presentation, Leanna. When we come back, we would hear from the representative of the Bastille High School, Ayana Blanchard. We'll be right back.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
I can assure you that we are not minding anybody's business. The information I am collecting is confidential under the Statistics Act. I declared an oath of secrecy that could result in criminal penalties if I disclose any information. The same goes for persons working for the Statistics Department.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skelec.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skelec is here for you. Powering our community.
Esteemed judges, invited guests, fellow participants, well-wishers,
listening audience, a pleasant evening. It is no secret that the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted normalcy and imposed limitations on our lives. The education system was one of the most affected sectors. However, as a nation, our will to rise above adversities propelled us to redefine methods, tap into our resources, and utilize avenues such as media to ensure that our students were not further disadvantaged. You may ask, how can media assist in the delivery of education? Before I give you the answer to this question, allow me to define the term media. Media is defined as an outlet for mass communication, inclusive of broadcasting, publishing, and the internet collectively. With this in mind, permit me to delve deeper into a few ways in which media can be a useful tool during this time of chaos, and past 3 years have been devastating for the education sector of St. Kitts and Nevis. Therefore, the media can assist with the delivery of education by sharing information relating to the curriculum. The use of communication media is effective in the delivery of various study materials, such as notes and assignments to students promptly. COVID-19 has forced teachers to explore alternative means, such as MS Teams, Google Meet, and Zoom to teach the curriculum. Therefore, ZIZ, for instance, can serve as an online platform as it has the capacity to reach almost every household. Doesn't that sound like an easy fix to this problematic situation brought on by the pandemic? This has proven to be effective in many countries world over. Take, for instance, in Peru, according to UNICEF, a curriculum sharing program, aptly called Aprenda en Casa, in English, I Learn at Home, uses radio, TV, and web-based platforms to provide instructions in math, Spanish, social sciences, and other areas at pre-primary, primary, and secondary levels. In our federation, we tend to copy everything from around the world. This initiative, if emulated, will not only benefit us, but the nation at large. Our media houses, inclusive of ZIZ, should contemplate implementing a program which shares information with students that will see to the continuation of learning in this time of much uncertainty. Secondly, allow me to expound on how media can be used to cultivate and foster a learning community. This point, though it may sound unfathomable, is quite simple. How can media assist working parents with knowing and understanding the curriculum so that they can be involved in the learning process? Everyone knows that, even though students had to remain at home during the pandemic, many parents, especially essential workers, had to report for duty. All of us in this room and the listening audience can attest that when children are left unsupervised, they get distracted, whether by playing with their siblings or friends, sleeping for way too long, or surfing the net. Learning is the furthest from their minds. However, with the media assistance, parents can hold them accountable and keep track of their progress, as parents would be in the classroom with their children while on the go. If media were to carry programs of this nature, parents would be able to simply turn on their radios, log on to Facebook, or switch on their mobile TVs and learn the curriculum as presented by teachers. Then, when they return home, the concepts could be revised with or taught to their children. Yes, media will be bridging the gap between the absence of face-to-face contact with teachers and children's learning, therefore cultivating and fostering a learning community. Finally, media can assist with the delivery of education in this time of COVID-19 by providing cognitive and affective experiences for students. You may wonder, is this even possible? Yes, it is. Research has shown that students tend to learn new information easily when it is presented in both visual and audio forms, thus indicating to us that it is quite possible for media to provide audio and visual reinforcement of the curriculum through special infomercials or by creating an audiovisual learning platform that aims in the dispersion of information. Please allow me to take you down memory lane. As I recall, and so can many of you, pre-COVID, ZIZ was one of those media houses which allowed for sessions that provided reinforcements for students sitting CXC exams. To be specific, there were maths and literature review lessons conducted by professional and experienced personnel which aided immensely in the students' preparation for exams. During this pandemic, why then can't ZIZ implement such like programs that would engender cognitive and affective experiences for the students of our federation? In conclusion, it is no doubt that our lives will forever change because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the way we deliver education cannot be the same. We are not alone in this, as media has much to offer in our endeavor to make sure that our students are not left behind. So let us all get on board. Thank you. I am Ayana Blanchard from the Bastia High School.
Thank you, Ayana Blanchard, the representative of the Bastia High School in tonight's speech contest. A tiny ball of fire. Mr. Squirrel, could you give us a score? Her time, rather?
Yes, she spoke for 6 minutes, 45 seconds.
Ayana presented tonight in 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Thank you so much. And we want to ask you to stand by next for Rajon Fifield of the Gingerland Secondary School. And he would be up next after this short break. Stand by.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skellig.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skellig is here for you. Powering our community.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rajon Fifield from the Gingerland Secondary School. Education prior to the pandemic followed the same shape and rhythm for years. This included the effective and essential role that media played. However, the COVID-19 pandemic put the world at a standstill. It came upon us like a thief in the night. It came without warning. It came without a manual. The rapid onset of COVID-19 necessitated the increased use of media. Meetings after meetings were held, and the Ministry of Education swiftly made Microsoft Teams accessible to all teachers and asserted its dominance among the many forms of media. My audience, shouldn't we capitalize on internet-based learning? For instance, the Ministry of Education's website can offer resources, digital resources, categorized by grades and subjects for students with daily detailed schedules. Each day's schedule should come equipped with video lessons, worksheets, assignments, learning activities for younger students, as well as self-paced interactive videos for older students. Additionally, students should be able to subscribe to a local educational channel. My esteemed judges, I never get bored with YouTube. It is one of the most popular online platforms. This is where I learned how to play Fortnite, how to tie a tie, and even how to cook ramen noodles. So why not get creative and have curated content on a YouTube channel to complement other online platforms? Content that aligns with all the curricula, such as a series of lessons using teachers' verse to teach with practice exercises. The future of mobile is the future of online, as quoted by Phil Nicholson. In the latest reported quarter, the Apple App Store had 470 million educational app downloads. An app which helps students to understand and acquire information from different perspectives should be created. The mobile app can include challenging tasks, puzzles, and educational games. In addition to the online platform, television can also enhance learning. According to UNICEF's COVID-19 Education Response Tracker, 70% of countries included television in their response to COVID-19 school closures. Our very own Nevis Television, NTV, aired pre-recorded videos of teachers demonstrating a variety of lessons. I had fun watching the French classes on the Ooh La La show, a collaboration with ZIZ and Alliance Francaise. Mr. News Netal kept our brains sticking with those mathematics and science lessons. Moderator, both ZIZ and NTV television stations should broadcast more educational programs which could be accessed at designated times. Additionally, students can view documentaries, informational segments, explanatory videos, and even news formats specially designed for teen students. Secondly, supplemental education is a great way to help students retain information they already learned. To further provide support to students, why not make available a digital library which contains content of various subjects? In countries such as Uruguay and Bulgaria, students have access to more than 7,000 contents, including textbooks, recreational reading, audio stories, videos, songs, and images. But what if the internet fails? All of this will be null and void. Remember, the internet does not run on gas or diesel. During the pandemic, our internet providers such as Digicel added more bandwidth to their systems to accommodate more persons. However, sometimes my internet is as slow as a crab. Therefore, we must lobby to ensure we have stronger internet connection. But what if the power fails too? We can then rely on print media. Without fail, newspapers are published every week. The St. Kitts Nevis Observer already has a kiddies corner. Every week, writing topics are published, and at the end of the month, the students with the best essays then receive a monetary award. In addition to this, the newspaper can publish practice material from different subject areas, targeting different grades and forms, then publish the answers the following week. Should education be all about academics? Academics is just one branch of education. Media can be used as a means of networking. Network learning is the process of developing and maintaining connections with people and information, and communicating in such a way as to support one another's learning. Our oldest form of electronic media is not to be left in the proverbial cold. When the radio is turned on in my home, all I hear is political shows, especially during the heated campaign season. My audience, Monday morning, 5 a.m. to be exact, DuPont on Freedom FM. Monday night, your voice, your voice, your voice, with NRP. Tuesday, issues and voices. Wednesday, good evening caller, you're on the mark. Thursday, straight talk on ZIZ. Friday, DuPont again. I have to wait until Saturday for One Radio's Youth on the Go with Miss Zanella Claxton to listen to anything related to education. It is a good thing that Mr. DuPont takes a break on this day because he is back in full swing on a Sunday. Therefore, more thought should be put into creating engaging shows geared specifically towards children. These can include an interactive segment such as a daily call-in radio show for students featuring children's book authors such as Carol Utley Mitchell reading from their books, podcast attempting to answer questions submitted by students, and music for children with the mission of being age appropriate and culturally inclusive. Moderator, the opportunities are endless. To conclude, enhancing the teaching and learning experience, providing supplementary learning and networking are ways in which media can be used to assist in the delivery of education. Let us use media to the extreme to help transform how we teach and how we learn. I thank you.
That was Rajon Fifield of the Gingerland Secondary School in Nevis. Thank you once again. And he
spoke for 7 minutes, 18 seconds.
7 minutes and 18 seconds. Thank you for your presentation. We are at the penultimate presenter in Janiqua Williams. She's a representative of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, and she will be next when we come back.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think that people in the community next door got indoor bathroom facilities added onto their homes some years ago? The results of the last census provided government with a picture of their situation, and the government put a plan in place to help those persons who were in need.
This is very interesting. I think my area could do with some government projects too.
It's not just about government. Your eldest daughter is in high school and doing school-based assessments and other projects. Where do you think she gets much of the population-related data she needs from? It's the statistics department and the work they do in conducting the census and surveys.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
I can assure you that we are not minding anybody's business. The information I am collecting is confidential under the Statistics Act. I declared an oath of secrecy that could result in criminal penalties if I disclose any information. The same goes for persons working for the Statistics Department.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skellig.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skellig is here for you. Powering a community.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition is sponsored by Skellig, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
Breaking news from ZIZ. Following aggressive testing carried out over the weekend, 129 new cases of the novel coronavirus on the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis have been confirmed. As a result, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has taken the decision to close schools suddenly until further notice. Parents are asked to cooperate with the ministry as school will transition to virtual learning. Now we go live to the Media and Education Convention as Education herself, Janiqua Williams, makes a presentation. This is ZIZ, the pulse of the Eastern Caribbean.
Andrew Meyer, Director of AmSource Technology, tweeted, "Whether you're an avid user, you're for it, or against it, there is no denying the many ways that the media and networking have impacted our lives for the better." End quote. Moderator, learned adjudicators, fellow presenters, listening and viewing audience, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Moderator, I rise this evening in this assembly of media as an ambassador for education to commence a very timely discussion in this era of technology and to use my voice to pilot our minds towards a better understanding of the moot. Education is the antidote for misinformation, so please permit me to define specific terms within the moot. Impose is defined as to establish or bring about as if by force. Education is penned as the knowledge and development resulting from the process of being educated. Media refers to the communication channel through which we disseminate information and other data physically and virtually. Media moderator, I create knowledge, build confidence, make dreams a reality, and break down societal barriers. Despite our present circumstances, I still should be at the epicenter of our societies, and I should be propelled like a stone, leaving the crux of a catapult. The expertise of media can greatly assist in the delivery of education by broadcasting educational programs via state-owned media, using various types of books to deliver content that is culturally responsive, and fostering a positive attitude towards online learning. Follow your heart to St. Kitts. No doubt, moderator, many of us in this very room have become quite familiar with that slogan, as it is plastered across the media. Firstly, the media can greatly assist in broadcasting educational programs via state-owned media. Logos, destination ads, and reviews heavily punctuate media network, making social media look perfect tourism marketing tool. And in the words of Premier Matt Brantley, "Me want a do." End quote. With numerous ways of viewing media available, we now have access to a plethora of appropriate television content. In this crowded television environment, the key is to provide learners with a guided viewing experience and to model and teach them the critical thinking skills needed with active, engaged viewers. Just imagine it. The cosmic impact of subject teachers across the country collaborating to produce a one-subject session program that can be added to the regular TV and radio programming and even the ZIZ website. The content will be aired on both radio and television to reach our diverse audience while catering to differentiated learning. Students can tune into the program and follow the syllabus from the comfort of their homes, or even catch up on lessons while taking a bus ride. This can give students the illusion of being in the physical classroom, introducing them to a new world of learning possibilities, fueled by media and education. Media and I can make our mark as teachers are now being encouraged to incorporate some aspect of media in every lesson. MediaSmart.gov notes, television is an inescapable part of modern culture. We depend on TV for entertainment, news, education, culture, weather, sports, and music since the advent of music videos. End quote. I am now truly modernized, innovative, relatable moderator, and added to that, this ensures that learning is more interesting. Allow me to shift the conversation to speak to using various types of books to deliver content and ebooks to deliver content that is culturally responsive. Comics, magazines, and novels speak to students using language they understand and identify with. Whether you're a strong reader or not, books give students the opportunity to digest material which combines images to express satire, symbolism, point of view, drama, puns, and humor in ways not required with syllabi required textbooks. Stephen Carey, a second language learner specialist and author of Going Graphic, Comics at Work in the Multilingual Classroom, says, comics provide authentic language learning opportunities for all students. The dramatically reduced text of many comics make them manageable and language profitable for even beginner level readers. End quote. This fusion can act as a catalyst to get children reading, following up on their own educational progress. Moderator, we can even engage local authors or writers to publish books on a necessary subject matter. Moderator, the pinnacle of it all will be the boost in local literacy, a renewed sense of national pride and academic achievements. The media combined with technology and education are integral parts of daily life, and joining them facilitates differentiated learning. Diverse students require diverse teaching methods. Moderator, lastly, delivering education in mass media creates a new paradigm in fostering a positive attitude towards online learning. Moderator, I am sure we are all familiar with the old parable. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Moderator, I am here to debunk such a claim, for if you make the horse thirsty, it will have no choice but to drink. Each media platform offers diversity, which may entice students to embrace new ideas of learning. The media has the unique ability to turn a regular monotonous classroom into a world of wonder where each child can be stimulated and educated at their pace using fun applications and virtual ability programs. Children attend classes from the comfort of their homes without having to put on their full uniforms. Media provides a smoother, more direct communication tool between students, teachers, and parents. Because of its ability to create powerful touchstones, online learning enables young people to share educational and cultural experiences with others. In conclusion, delivering education using the media means giving teachers and students the best learning environment possible and equipping them with necessary tools to compete against the limitations generated by the pandemic. Media can and should assist in broadcasting educational programs to deliver content that is culturally responsive and to foster a positive attitude towards online learning. The education of our children depends on it. I thank you.
Thank you, Janiqua Williams. From the looks of it, she may be one of the youngest presenters, and so I ask her again to give another round of applause. We'll now hear the time of her presentation.
She spoke for 7 minutes, 38 seconds.
7 minutes and 38 seconds. And now we will hear from our final presenter, Anio Penny. Anio Penny is the representative of the Virtuals High School, and I'm not sure if it's, I'm assuming it's a female. A male? Okay, he would present after this break. So we would stand by for the representative of the Virtuals High School, Anio Penny, after this break.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skillick.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skillick is here for you. Powering our community.
I can assure you that we are not minding anybody's business. The information I am collecting is confidential under the Statistics Act. I declared an oath of secrecy that could result in criminal penalties if I disclose any information. The same goes for persons working for the Statistics Department.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
Consider it a blessing to be seated in this room. While we often take for granted many privileges, let me remind you that there are people who wish that they were alive today. Many people died from COVID-19. Madam Moderator, I bring you greeting this evening. I wish to observe the protocols laid before me. Today, I will present on how the media can assist in the delivery of education in the face of the pandemic. However, while preparing my presentation, I could not help but to imagine that student who is confronted with the image of her grandmother sprawling unconsciously after suffering from COVID-19. Many people take for granted health and education when there are others who could only dream of these necessities. As I continue, for clarity, let me define the term media as any electronic system through which students can remain connected to their classroom, their teachers, and the news. The media assists in the delivery of education during this pandemic by disseminating information, facilitating online education, and engaging students to achieve learning outcomes. The media is an effective tool to disseminate information and to provide mental support to students. During the lockdown, how were you informed about the COVID situation? Radio technology and other media platforms are integral in the delivery of education, as press releases often contains information about the opening or the closure of schools. The media also teaches safety precautions and guidelines. According to a 2020 UNESCO report, the value of education content disseminated through radio and television is high, as such programs provide opportunities and tackle issues such as health and the mental well-being of students. Such programs are essential in supporting the population affected by COVID-19. We cannot, therefore, undermine the value of media in education when it has proven to support the most vulnerable groups. Remember, there are students who experience mental health issues caused by the pandemic, as well as those who rely on this source of media as a legitimate source of news. Additionally, the media also effectively facilitates the transition from in-person learning to virtual learning. The traditional classroom setting, which was previously used as a medium to effectively transfer knowledge and skills, is now facing the threat of COVID-19. Although there is need for lockdown and social distancing because of the pandemic, we must invest in virtual classroom as an alternative to the face-to-face experience. I am certain that you would agree that the media provides a new culture of academics as students see the importance of being able to navigate online tools as priority. Online media platforms support the transition from face-to-face experiences by offering incentives. The World Economic Forum reveals that because of significant demand many online learning platforms are now offering free access for teachers and students. The support from the online community positively facilitates the transition to online education and leads to acquisition of computer literacy skills. Such skills can potentially be transferred to other areas of student lives, especially now when IT students tend to have an advantage in the field of work. Furthermore, the media allows teachers to engage students while maintaining learning outcomes. Education platforms such as Zoom and Google Classrooms were designed to facilitate online education. Such popular media are both teacher and student friendly. They are filled with navigation tools to simulate a face-to-face experience. Additionally, features such as video calling allows teachers to monitor students. Moreover, classroom recordings ensure that students can access this information at a later date. Research by the World Economic Forum reveals that online education significantly increased the retention of information by students. In addition, students' participation is enhanced by the raise a hand and mic navigation tool. My esteemed audience, the ease of maintaining learning outcomes is facilitated by virtual platforms. Google Classroom entails creative ways to facilitate education as students progress and can utilize these features such as Google Docs to share information in real time. Hence, learning outcomes are maintained by the media as it can effectively engage students in work. Esteemed judges, in the midst of this emergency shift, we are at an advantage. The improvement in technology allows us to create dynamic classroom experience outside the usual classroom setting. The media must be recognized and commended for the strides it makes in the field of education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Penny. And that effectively brings us to the end of the contest, the speech contest this evening. If you were following in the comfort of your homes, I hope that you have enjoyed this wonderful display of speech and eloquence in our young people. I am proud of their representation here tonight. I have been making notes, and I could very well imagine so too have been the education officials in this room and perhaps listening from the comfort of their homes likewise. And so there is much food for thought to take away in terms of what the young people are saying, that the media can help in the delivery of education. And so perhaps when you go back to your conference rooms over the days and weeks coming, we would see some of these changes implemented, if not fully, perhaps even on a trial basis. So they're talking about dedicated television channels. There's mention of tried and tested presenters in local TV. Mention was made of Nital with his mathematics and chemistry shows, as well as Alliance Française. There's a recommendation for documentary for revision purposes, news dedicated to teens, a digital library of various content, and all of this against the backdrop of the importance, I think, by Charlestown Secondary of a strong media infrastructure. Because without that, these days, like he said, the media cannot function on gas. And so all of this against the backdrop of a strong internet infrastructure is important. And that was a very solid point. There was also mention of our newspapers providing a kiddies corner, as was mentioned, that the Observer does, the Observer newspaper, or practice material. There was also a suggestion of interactive segment using children's book authors, podcasters who cater to children, and local authors who should be encouraged to publish their books online. That's GSS? Well, thank you, thank you. So I think that our young people really left us with quite a plethora of suggestions tonight. And with that said, we are going to send off our judges to sum up, tally, discuss their remarks, their observations, their points, and we would be back here in 10 minutes. During that time, I'm told that we would have a presentation from the ZIZ studios. So don't go away if you're in the listening audience. In the viewing audience, we want you to stand by when we return in 10 minutes and bring you the scores. Thank you so much for being with us this far.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition was sponsored by Skellek, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
We are on the move.
Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up, daddy fixing up some breakfast while my makeup, put some makeup on. Everything is bliss between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence, alright. So we can be where we want to be.
The move. Today we are here with Sergeant Henry and Mr. Daniel. Sergeant Henry is from the Traffic Department and Mr. Daniel from the Public Works Department, who are going to be here with us, giving us some instructions on how to use the traffic lights that were recently commissioned. We are here at the Wellington Road branch or traffic stop, where they're going to let us know how these lights are to be used. We see persons are allowed to turn right into Hosford's Automotive, but they're not allowed to turn right into the Sol gas station. Sergeant Henry, could you tell us more about that?
The reason for this, if you're traveling from Baker's Corner End to the Hosford showroom, you'll be able to turn there because of the gap that is between the stoplight and the entrance to the Hosford Value Mart or the automotive division.
Persons on Lewis lanes and all these, the street that takes you into Hosford's, are they able to cross and go in?
Persons coming from Lewis Lane, yes, they are able to go across into Hosford Automotive Division or, as you say, Value Mart. As I said earlier, because of the distance from the traffic light, so there's a gap. So they'll be able to turn into that street. Persons coming out from the gas station, they can only make a left turn. They can't make a right turn onto Wellington Road because it is so close to the traffic lights. Anyone coming from Hosford Value Mart or the automotive can turn either left or right or go straight into Lewis Lane because it's a free gap. It's far from the traffic light.
This is for persons who want to access the gas station from Wellington Road if they're coming up from Baker's Corner. Go straight ahead.
From it, I can show you the way. Mother colony, queen.
This is the route that you would take if you want to access the Sol gas station.
I love and cherish you. Together we stand, together we stand.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible, yeah. Imagine dancing in the rain like it's normal. If you catch the cold, no worry, no excuse, we could pick some line. Blink a little and everything will be just fine. It's the island life, so make me tell you now. My dream, night breeze. We could even walk the beach and in my Nikes. We could eat some baba cakes, sweet and it irie. Sparkling waters, are you excite me? It's the moment in time when I realize our history say we was born to survive. Yeah, so nobody tell me otherwise. In that this a paradise, now come to with a maga lines. Culture prevails when the love.
Alright, so Sergeant Henry and Mr. Daniel, could you tell us about traffic coming along the Bay Road from the west end? I see that there's a sign that says no right turn into Port Zante. Could you give us some further details?
Persons traveling from the west end of the Bay Road and coming straight up to Sands Complex, they won't be able to turn right. If they want to make a right, they'll have to go straight up the Bay and turn and come back down. They only can come in from their left. And if you're on your right and you want to turn into Sands Complex, you cannot turn there also. Not into Wiggly Alley. Persons only can travel on the left and turn into Wiggly Alley or into the Sands Complex. Okay, traffic leaving the east end of Port Zante can only take a right. And this is because they're trying to free up Basti area with the congestion of traffic that is going into Bastille. So when you come out from Port Zante, you can only take a right, head towards the fisheries area. If you want to come back into town, you have some side street by George Street, which is Brumble Street. You can go through there and come out on Douglas Street and come back down into town. Route up into Wiggly Alley and onto George Street. And there's also no parking up Wiggly Alley on your left hand side.
Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up, daddy fixing up some breakfast while my makeup, but I makeup on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence arrive. So we can be where we want to be. Just remember where we're coming from, and I can show you the way.
We are on the Bay Road at the stoplights on Bay Road and 4th, where nothing has changed in terms of traffic flow, but there are some key things that persons or motorists need to note, and Mr. Daniel will tell us more.
Yes, on the intersection by the museum in the turning lane, you actually can turn on the green bar once nothing is approaching on the opposite side. So it'll be easier for the public to know when to move or when not to move. In the hour alone, you could actually turn on the green bar once nothing approaching.
Mother colony, Queen City, I love and cherish her. Together we stand, together we stand.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that you would have been impossible.
We are now on Port Zante West. We're now going to have an understanding of how this new roundabout or walkabout works, and the traffic lights as well. We're going to also have some instructions on how to use the crossing so that we don't have persons jaywalking anymore. Sergeant Henry, could you tell us more about the lights commissioned here?
The lights at Port Zante West. You can only take a left into you can only take a left into the Bay Road. That's heading towards the ferry terminal. Persons not supposed to jaywalk across here not across over by Rams. For jaywalking, you can be fined $500. And why we talk about the jaywalking is not only the fine. You may get knocked down from the oncoming traffic and you're going to get injured. Some part of you might be broken or you might even lose your life. So we are appealing to the public not to jaywalk, especially in this area. Walk for these areas is down by the Social Security building, that's down on College Street, or up by the old museum building. So those are the only two crosswalks that persons are allowed to walk. Also, persons are not allowed to park on this side by Rams or Courts any longer. There are yellow lines and that is no parking. If you want to park, you have the parking lot which is on the seaside. You can either park there or plan your route, as we say, to get to your area.
Mr. Daniel is now going to explain what is happening with this end, the west and western end of the roundabout, which is currently blocked off. He's going to let us know where persons are supposed to turn and why this is so.
Yes, so the reason why the west side part of the roundabout is blocked off is for us to actually control the flow of traffic over here. So we have sensors over there so we can pick up and know when somebody to leave and what's not. And we don't want to have people come over here and have a free left and we'd have no control, and when people come in and have a little accident, we don't need that. So that's why we put the sensors over here to control everybody to come out. And you can take a left still the same way from over here.
So for our motorists are for us to understand, this is jaywalking and it is not allowed. You are supposed to use the crossings at Social Security and by the old museum. For persons dropping off or picking up from Rams Supermarket, this is an example of what you could do when shopping in the Bastia area.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that would have been impossible, yeah. Imagine dancing in the rain like it's normal. If you catch the cold, no worry, no excuse, we could pick some line. Drink a little and everything will be just fine. It's the island life, so make me tell you now. My dream, night breeze. We could even walk the beach and in my Nikes. We could eat some barbecue, sweet and it irie. Sparkling waters, are you excited? It's the moment in time when I realize our history say we was born to survive, yeah. So
we are at the College Street and Caines Street stoplights where the traffic lights would have been moved, and crossing into Church Street is no longer allowed. Sergeant Henry will tell us more.
Okay, because of the commission of the lights into College and Caines, across the roads and not jaywalk as I speak of earlier.
We are to remember that there is no longer any crossing allowed from the Anglican Church onto Church Street. There's no longer a crossing and traffic is no longer able to turn into Church Street from this end.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible, yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible.
From a land of freedom fighters, educators, readers.
We are now at the 4th Street junction of the traffic lights, and we're going to have Sergeant Henry tell us more about persons using the gas station that is located on 4th Street and Victoria Road, and also how persons can ease their time in traffic in this area.
I want to remind the motorists that when you are exiting on the Caines Street end, you're not supposed to turn right. You're supposed to turn left onto Caines Street, or you can turn reverse and go up to Victoria Road. So, taking a right onto Caines Street is a no-no. And if you do that, that's an offense, and that's failing to comply with traffic signs.
We would have taken some time and driven around town to and from the traffic traffic lights that have been commissioned to give you an update on the new traffic restrictions, the do's and don'ts, and the different changes that are now in place. Stay tuned for more on the move.
Imagine early in the morning when you wake up, daddy fixing up some breakfast while my makeup, but makeup on. Everything is bliss between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence arrive. So we can be where we want to be. Just remember where we're coming from, and I can show you the way.
Mother colony, Queen city, I love and cherish you. Together we stand, together we stand.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible, yeah.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition was sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
A new era of power online, available at your fingertips from the comfort of your home. A new look, new features, and even more convenience. Report faults, customer support, bill payments, news and updates. www.skelec.kn. Powering solutions online.
Reliable and responsible. Skelec is here for you. Powering our community.
The Population and Housing Census is the collection of data on the people and housing conditions in every community on the island. The data collected is necessary to facilitate decision-making, which aim to improve the quality of life of our people.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
I can assure you that we are not minding anybody's business. The information I am collecting is confidential under the Statistics Act. I declared an oath of secrecy that could result in criminal penalties if I disclose any information. The same goes for persons working for the Statistics Department.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
Yes, it is important to provide full cooperation. Give truthful information to all questions asked, and you can be ensured that all your information will remain confidential.
Yes, Sandra. We provide the Department of Statistics information for years without any confidentiality issues. They are bounded by law to uphold the privacy of individual information.
Better data, better business, better lives.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think that people in the community next door got indoor bathroom facilities added onto their homes some years ago? The results of the last census provided government with a picture of their situation, and the government put a plan in place to help those persons who were in need.
This is very interesting. I think my area could do with some government projects too.
It's not just about government. Your eldest daughter is in high school and doing school-based assessments and other projects. Where do you think she gets much of the population-related data she needs from? It's the Statistics Department and the work they do in conducting the census and surveys.
Let us all play our part. Better data for better lives.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition was sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.
Welcome back. You have been viewing the Ministry of Education, Goldwyn Caines' high school speech competition. And this evening, the topic that was discussed was given the limitations imposed by the pandemic. How can media assist in the delivery of education? We had representation tonight from 7 schools, and these were, if I could find my notes, Cheyenne Hanley, representing the Caines High School, Malachi Tucker Gomes, representing the Washington Archibald High School, from the Charleston Secondary School, Leanna Liebert, the Basti High School's representative was Ayana Blanchard. Rajon Fifield represented the Gingerland Secondary School. And from the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, we had Janiqua Williams. And finally, from the Virtuals High School, Anio Penny. So our judges have come back, and they would share some feedback and then announce who the winners are. And to do this, we invite Jamie Morris to come to tell us some of the findings and then let us know who the winner and first runner-up is, or are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to say that the competition we found was of a very high caliber, so congratulations to all of you. Not very many people understand what it means to speak in public, and we think that you did a very good job representing not only the schools but yourselves. So as we discussed, obviously the criteria that we had to discuss and rate you on was soundness of content and delivery. And for soundness of content, we looked at things like relevance to topic. And we felt generally all of you did an excellent job with that. The preparation, mention must be made of statistics, because you not only quoted statistics, but you also made mention of particular sources of information that were, again, relevant to the topic. Great supporting evidence, appropriate discussion across the board, although we feel that some were stronger in it than others, but generally very good delivery there. The diction, the clarity, vocabulary and fluency, there were moments that we felt that we were looking at perhaps the future Goldwyn Caines, because you were so fluent. And then there were other moments when it came to things like eye contact, we felt that there were moments when you were looking at the script. And for those of you who did that, you know, it was not a dominant feature, but when it occurred, we saw that you corrected it quickly, and so we commend you for that. In terms of the delivery as well, when it comes to body language and gestures and expressions, we saw a range of what you showed us today. We saw some people who were really vibrant, use of hands. We saw others who were stoic, but yet had such presence. So it says that, indeed, the future is bright. Now, unfortunately, in my book and in the judges' books, you are all winners, but we know how the scoring goes. So I will let you know how the schools ranked from the bottom to the top. So we begin with Rajon Fifield of the Gingerland Secondary School, amassing a total of 110 points and losing 5 for going overtime. So the total is 105 for Rajon. Very good job, because the scores were again close. Next up is Leanna Liebert of the Charlestown Secondary School with 108 points. Again, 5 deducted, taking you to 108. And in third place of the Virtuals High School is Anya Penny with 111 points. In fifth place, rather. Yes. I told you that the scores were close because, as you see, we're moving up, but not very far. In fourth place is the Caines High School, Cheyenne Henley, with a total of 118 points. And now we're getting to the top 3 positions. Let's see how you rank. In third place, from the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, is Janiqua Williams with a score of 124 points. 124 points. In second place, not far behind at all, not far in front, rather, from the Charlestown Secondary School, from the Baxter High School, Ayanna Blanchard. Yes, 128. And that means that I actually do not have to announce the big winner tonight, but I'll do it anyway. It is Malachi Tucker Gums of the Washington Archibald High School with 137 points. And on behalf of the judges, I do have to say thank you. It was our pleasure to be here. It's our pleasure to see what you produced. Good job, teachers. Thank you to the Ministry of Education. Thank you to ZIZ. And thank you to the moderator for allowing us to present this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Judge. So we can see it was a keenly contested competition. You're all winners. Give yourself another round of applause. Thank you. Mr. Francil Morris, the Chief Education Officer, will now come forward to assist with the distribution of awards. Could we have a representative from ZIZ to assist with the distribution of the awards? The General Manager, Mr. Galloway, is making his way front stage. So the second one up is the representative of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School. Congratulations, Ayanna. Janiqua. The first runner-up is Ayanna Blanchard of the Baxter High School. And we say many congratulations to the winner of tonight's competition, Mr. Malachi Tucker Gums from the Washington Archibald High School. Thank you again to all of the participants. We will now have some final words of appreciation from the... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that there were more trophies to be distributed. So there'll be a participation trophy for the other participants. So we're going to start with Cheyenne Hanley from Caines High School. Annie Penny, representing the Virtuals High School. Liana Liebert of the Charlestown Secondary School. And Rashawn Fifield of the Gingerland Secondary School. Did I miss anybody? Okay. So there's a trophy for the school, and that school obviously is the Washington Archibald High School. The teacher representative can step forward together with the student for a photo op. We know the Washi people. There you go. Many congratulations to the Washington Archibald High School, to the teachers who prepared the children. There are more goodies to be given away? To the winner? To the winner, there's a tablet. I see it is in a TDC bag. I'm assuming it's compliments TDC. More stuff left to be given away? There's a plaque for the winning school. So could somebody from Washi step forward again to collect the plaque for the winning school? Is that it, or is there something else left? No. Okay. Thank you very much, General Manager Vay Galloway and Chief Education Officer Mr. Fancel Morris, for assisting in the presentation of trophies and awards. And now we'll have some final words from the Permanent Secretary, Mr. William Hodge, and that will be followed by the vote of thanks by Jason Davis of ZIZ.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I wish to extend congratulations to all the participants. Please give them a big round of applause. As was said, you are all winners just by participating this evening. But of course, we had to make some special announcements in terms of those persons who might have impressed the judges most. I am very happy that the Ministry of Education has partnered with ZIZ to make this second annual Goldwyn Caines competition a reality. I would like to say that a past staffer a worker from ZIZ, Gwel Brown, message to say he's looking at the competition from where he's at in the United States, and he is impressed, and he's happy that we were able to do this this time around. So a big shout out to Gwel Brown and all the other persons who are looking and listening, viewing online. We want to encourage you to continue building on your oratorical skills. So this is not just for the purpose of competing here tonight, but it is something that you'll continue to build on. We want to see more of this in our secondary schools. I'm hoping that we can launch an inter-secondary school debating competition. I think we tried doing it sometime with the law fraternity, maybe once or twice, about twice before the pandemic came. I'm hoping that now that we have two lawyers here this evening, that it is something you will take up with the Bar Association, that we can really continue to engage our young people in public speaking. It is something that we have to continue to work on, continue to build. I'm going to stop talking here before I take over Jason's job to give the vote of thanks. My greatest appreciation for you young people braving this exercise tonight to do such a phenomenal job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hodge, and thank you everyone for joining us for the second annual ZIZ Goldwyn Caines speech competition. And congratulations to Malachi Tucker Gums on taking the top prize in Washington Archibald High School. Give them a round of applause once again. This competition would not have been possible without the assistance of several partners. First and foremost, we'd like to thank the Ministry of Education, specifically Mr. William Vincent Hodge, who spearheaded the planning and preparation on the school's end. Your contribution was invaluable, and we are indeed very grateful. He put in a lot of work to help put this together. I'd like to thank the moderator, Ms. Laverne Caines, a consummate professional, for ably chairing the proceedings tonight, and of course the judges and the timekeeper for your skills and expertise. Thank you all. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Skelec, and other contributing businesses, TDC Group of Companies, Eustace Warner and Associates, and the Plant Man from St. Peter's for the lovely foliage you see around. Special thanks to Carib Express, Tyrone Granny Brown, and the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force Coast Guard for providing transportation for the Nevis contingent. Extra special thanks to the parents and the teachers who have dedicated their time to assist the students in preparation for this competition. And of course to the students themselves for participating. Public speaking is not easy. It can be very intimidating, so we commend you on your bravery and your hard work. Please give them another round of applause. It is not easy. Finally, special thanks to the production crew. They are often overlooked because they work behind the scenes, so please, special thanks to them. They put in a lot of hard work to make this production happen, and of course all of the ZIZ staff who pulled together to make this a production a reality. Please give them a round of applause. They're often overlooked. Thank you. And of course to Mr. Goldwyn Caines for the lasting impact he's had on our lives and the contribution he's made to media and the Federation, and of course for donating the plaque that will be held by the Triumphant School each year. So thank you to Mr. Caines, and thank you one and all for coming. This has been the ZIZ 2002 Goldwyn Caines speech competition. I wish you all a good night.
ZIZ's second annual Goldwyn Caines High School Speech Competition was sponsored by Skelec, with contribution by TDC Group of Companies and Eustace Warner and Associates.